Transformational Truth. I'm Ashley Elizabeth and welcoming you here to an expectation-free space where there is an open invitation just for you to journey with us into the heart of transformational truth.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. We are recording this today on a Saturday before Easter.
Yeah.
So happy Easter if you are listening to it today or tomorrow, really anytime, but just happy Easter. And it is a beautiful day, at least here in Colorado. I don't know if you can tell, but we actually have sunshine and no snowstorms. So I'm excited about that. What topic are you guys excited about?
Ooh,
I
put
don't.
it in the chat. Put it in the comments. See if you can
Yes.
predict some of the things we are posting, or we've posted an update of different topics in our Transformational Truth group. Remember that anytime that you are wanting to add topics to our wheel, all you have to do is comment on one of these videos, or you can drop something in our Transformational Truth group, or you can reach out to either Rochelle or myself. And we would love to add that. To that same extent, if you ever want to be on one of our riff offs with us, don't forget that we have some books for you and that we would love to share more of your insights, your ideas, because you don't have to prep anything to be on these riff offs because we're just going to spin this wheel and whatever happens is what happens. And then we're going to talk about it. So, Rochelle, are you ready to spin this wheel?
I'm so ready, but I also want to add that next riff off in 2 weeks, I am going to offer a very special giveaway uh,
Whoa.
that you don't even know about.
No, I
So,
don't. This is brand new information and I love it.
so in 2 weeks, be listening, and I'm gonna give a special giveaway that ties in everything that we've already riffed off about. So,
Amazing. Rochelle, you're the best. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Our topic for the week is going to be patience and persistence in the process.
wow,
Patience and persistence in the process.
it's so crazy how each one aligns with like what is happening in life. And I really feel like they've just been like building blocks,
They
and
have, and
it's
so to like, yes, but to recap for people who maybe not have caught our first episodes, and they're totally going to go back and watch them now, or listen to them now. But we tackled awareness, we've tackled self-love, and we've tackled boundaries. It's actually self-love was first, then awareness, then boundaries. And so leaning into the patience and persistence in the process, yeah, we're 4 for 4 and like this hitting exactly where it needs to hit for all of these different things. I don't know, man. I think my brain is spinning right now, but I'm thinking about our awareness stuff and I'm thinking about our boundary stuff more than I'm thinking about really a lot in this moment. And I'm thinking about one of the things that I learned years ago, going through some difficult stuff on my own, but I was working with somebody and we were talking about like how long it takes for you to change a thought process, how long it takes for you to legitimately, shift the way that you think or the way that you're showing up in a space or whatever. And, there's all sorts of research out there about, how many days does it take to create a habit or how many days does it take to break a habit, whatever. Those are actually, and they don't apply to thinking patterns because our thinking patterns are so deeply ingrained. And so when it comes to thinking patterns, what I was discovering essentially is that it can take like 1 to 3 years to of consistent, persistent work to really change our thought patterns. And I don't say that to discourage anybody or for people to be like, oh my gosh, well then I'm out. Like I don't have that kind of commitment in me. But I think it's worth knowing because to me, then the opposite side of that is one of the things that's a key to persistence and patience is just showing up every day, not worrying about the length of the journey, but what am I going to do? What am I going to do today to just show up and be in that space? So I have so much that's on my mind right now, but what's coming up for you, Rochelle?
well, to take that part of what you just said, and it showing up means a lot of different things. And I just feel like I need to touch on that real quick.
Mm.
A lot of times people feel like working and
Ooh.
doing is always like the act of showing up. And sometimes simply just being in the space, and sometimes not doing anything is doing. In the persistence, in the consistency of everything. And I think it's important that we start breaking some of our conditioning,
Mm,
especially with this topic of, you know, the word persistent, automatically what goes into your mind? It probably is the doing, you know? And sometimes the most important part of that is sometimes the brainstorming
mm,
era of it. Sometimes it's the sitting in it and letting your mind not be distracted by like your phone or your TV or anything like that. I know a lot of times just being in that uh mindset, and like you were talking about earlier, our roots are so deep, and sometimes the roots are actually poisoning the tree,
mm-hmm,
and we have to dig and we can get rid of those roots, and make it sure that, like, the tree or us,
mm-hmm.
that we are thriving. And I think that that's where the patience part comes in. I think learning patience is such an important skill. And it's not just like patience with your husband, patience with your kids, patience
No,
with your friends, or da da da. It's actually patience with yourself. And it's that like self-reflection part of what does it mean to have patience in the process of being persistent.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of beautiful dreams die in that process. And I think that another word that would go well with this topic is permission. So we've
oh,
got a lot of P words,
yeah, you
giving
do,
ourselves permission to be patient and persistent in the process of whatever it is. And
yeah,
I know for me that giving myself permission to not force things. For instance, this morning I had an epiphany of something that I just let rest.
mm,
I knew it was there. I knew it was going to happen, and I needed to put it in a box where it needed to happen. And
mm,
at 6 o'clock this morning, when I woke up, clarity flooded my mind, opened my heart, and gave me peace. And so that's where my brain is going right now, is just
yeah.
all of the aspects of we don't give ourselves permission to do things uh, that are uniquely meant for us. So,
I think that is so spot on. I also think, and I'm going to kind of go back and touch on our awareness and boundary stuff a little bit, but I think a lot of that comes down to an awareness of how we're impacted by our environment and how we're impacted by our society. We all know and can articulate, yeah, we totally live in an instant gratification type of society, a society that moves at a very brisk pace, a society that focuses on celebrating achievement, 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 right? And so when we're in this process and we're trying to do something where there's a big change happening, especially when it is an internal change, I think sometimes we can get really caught up in feeling like I should have been there by now. I
yeah.
should have, like, I should be farther along. How can I be this age or this level of experience or this fill in the blank and not be there yet? And part of that, I think, is that patience, but it's like patience with grace or patience with permission, like you were talking about, because all of these things that influence us and our perception of whether or not we're growing or whether or not we're achieving this thing that we have set out to achieve, I think that can really impact us. I think there's a graphic that I can't wait to post in our group this week, but it's like what we think the journey looks like versus what the journey actually looks like. And we think the journey is like this straight line and it's like up a mountain because I set out to climb a mountain. So I'm gonna friggin' climb a mountain. And in reality, it's like there's so many twists and turns and ups and downs, and it's okay to be in those spaces, and all the things that you feel like are setbacks really are still steps forward as long as we're not staying stuck. I also think when it comes to persistence, and I'm thinking about all the boundary stuff that's there, I think you are so spot on that we misrepresent what persistence is. and we end up classifying it as like dying on this hill and never giving up. And I'm like never going to yield and I'm never going to blah, 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 fill in the blank. When the truth is that sometimes persistence and not giving up or whatever can also mean evaluating where you're at right now and deciding if this thing that you're pursuing is serving you or not. And also if the way you're approaching it is serving you or not. Because sometimes if you don't take the time to rest and to step back, it's like that book that, I talk about all the time, 10x is easier than 2x. But if you're not, there's so much research about rest days. There's so much research about unplugging and taking time away that catapults you forward in your process. And so, I don't know, I think there's a lot of like mislabeling that happens with patience and persistence, and then mislabeling about what those timelines look like. I have so many books that are coming to mind that I've like read and done things with. I don't know. I just am feeling very flooded with content at this moment. And if you're somebody who's listening to this and there's some things that are resonating with you, I would highly encourage you to go join our Facebook group. There is so much good content that comes in there. So many opportunities for reflection, so many opportunities for digging deeper. Plus, it's just a phenomenal community. So we'd love to have you in that space.
Absolutely. And I just want to kind of round out these first four riff offs
Mm,
and tie it into what you just said. Self-auditing is
mm,
one of the most beautiful gifts you can give yourself in all aspects of your life. And you don't need to schedule it. You don't need to have like a system or whatever, but just going back and, for me, I kind of like to do it at the end of every month.
mm.
That seems to be a good fit for me. So yesterday, for instance, I self-audited myself in all aspects of my life. And as soon as I was done, I was able to like just feel better
Mm.
about, like, did I have areas to grow? Did I not give myself permission in these aspects? What got in my way? All the things, because if we don't check in with ourselves, then we're doing ourselves a disservice in the whole wide picture of why we do what we do in the first place. And we can just serve from a better place if we no business can thrive without an audit. No, no system can thrive without an audit. And so giving yourself that it doesn't even take a whole day,
Mm.
even if you're just like maybe sitting in a bathtub and you're going, how did that month go? It could just be something totally casual. And I think that that was something that came to mind about just the fact that uh, these 2-week chunks is a great opportunity to self audit
I was just thinking the
this
same
particular,
thing.
of course you are, with this particular topic. And I think that that's a habit I'm developing, is that, give yourself permission for these 2 weeks to dive into these topics and audit yourself. So
No, I think you're so spot on. And I think that 2 week time period, especially if you've never been somebody who's tried to kind of audit those things, 2 weeks can be a really good time period, as long as when you're looking at it, that timeline piece doesn't get in your way of like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be so far, or whatever. By the end of these 2 weeks, it's about acknowledging where you're at and appreciating where you're going
yeah.
and celebrating how far you've come. Because I don't know, if you're missing that celebration part, if you're missing I don't know, the joy that comes from the growth, then both patience and persistence are going to feel like something that you're hustling for, something
Yeah.
that you're shooting on yourself for, right? I should have been this, I should have been that. Gosh, I should be more patient with myself, all those kinds of things. Um, but as long as you're in that more gratitude, that celebration mindset, it doesn't mean you have to ignore what's real or what's hard. You always want to do that. But you're so right. That 2 week time period, I think it's really powerful. I feel like it's a good place for us to settle into in what we're doing.
Completely. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I'm pumped. Guys, you got to get in this group. You got to make sure you're sharing this with your friends. You got to make sure that you're getting people in this space, because our goal, our mission is just to gather all of these empowered, self-led women, get them all in this space where we can be together and work together and grow together and experience all of these amazing things, because Rochelle and I definitely do not have the corner on the market on any of these topics. We are as in it and as growing with you as anybody else. And so just make sure we're adding people to this space. Make sure you're sharing this podcast, because we want to make sure that we are reaching people so that they know how phenomenal they are, so that we can celebrate how empowered they are, and so that we can all dig in and grow together in this space where we're journeying toward transformational truth. We'll catch you on the next episode, guys. Love you so much.
Bye.